small cup, small spoon. Stir that up. And just to give you a comparison, this is a normal spoon. Look at that. It's a toy. Okay, so we're going to go outside for a little bit and smoke my last macanudo. Inspirado. You want to go outside, Papa? Ah, look at Macho Boy. Look at Macho Boy. Oh, he's sitting here waiting for Daddy. You want to go? Want to take some coffee? Oh. All right, let's go. Let's go outside. It's a pretty day. Whoop. So I've been working on some projects. One in particular. Tastes good. So being that it's cold, overcast, and windy, it's pretty breezy here. I mean, look what's going on with these trees, palm trees and everything. I decided to stay home instead of going to the marina, and I finished a project that I've been meaning to finish for a year. I got my water fountain working, and the water just ripples down to the pond, and I made this water fountain. I bought the bowl, the big vase, and I inserted it there, and I said, yeah, I want to make a fountain, but I never got around to it. So finally I got it done, and I had to do some digging and removing some dirt and stuff. Come on, Papa. Want to see with Daddy? Yeah, Macho, what's the matter? Oh boy, oh, look at it. So windy over here, so windy, huh? So the only thing left to do is to finish up the stone circle around it, plant some flowers around it, and then I bought this mesh sitting on the table over there, and I'm gonna cover the ground and then get some either gravel, color gravel, or mulch, that red mulch that we have here, put it in the bottom there, kind of dress it up a little bit, and that'll finish that corner. Then right now I have an extension, but I have an outlet box that I have to give juice to. I got the wire running this way, and I gotta connect it to this junction box and over there, and then I get power from here, and I have a switch. I can just switch it and everything turns on, the lights and the pump and everything. So right now it's looking very good. Now the pump does not, the idea at the beginning was to fill the whole vase of water. But then I was thinking, okay, how am I gonna get the water to bubble on top if I'm feeding it from the bottom? And what I did is I by mere coincidence, I had some fittings in a drawer because I have a bunch of odds and ends that I usually keep, and I found these fittings that I could put a dash, a gasket or a rubber O-ring, insert it from the bottom, tighten it, and then run a PVC pipe inside. So inside the vase, even though it looks full, it's empty. I went to Lowe's and I found a perfectly sized uh, pot, plastic pot, that fits right over it. Then I drill a hole and I put a 3/4 inch pipe through there, and then a 1 inch reducer on top, so it gives it a little bit of a power jet, and it causes the bubble effect, and then the ripple of the water goes down. So otherwise I would have had to, it would have filled it up from the bottom, no problem there, but I wouldn't have gotten that the bubbly effect because the motor is not that powerful. It's good for a 5-foot fountain. Then they have one that goes more and more. But I said, well, I'm gonna, and then I can adjust it. It has a little adjustment under there. But right now I have it at full blast, and that's perfect. We don't want a gushing, thing going on. So it's nice and quiet. You hear the slapping of the water. So I got the radar installed on the boat and did that by myself. It wasn't easy, but I got it done. And I had an issue with the carburetor. What happened was that the float got stuck on the up position, locking the entryway there, the little passageway for fuel. I should have tapped it. It didn't dawn on me that it was that. I thought it was something that got installed wrong. So I called the guy's name is Johnny at Jets in Newport. And I told him, Johnny, this is what's happening. I don't know what's going on. I already tried all kinds of things. And you blow, I hooked up a hose and everything. Blow, nothing. No air. If there's no air coming in, it's like a vacuum. No air going out, there's no fuel going in, etc. So he said, well, bring it in, let me check it out. So I took it over there yesterday morning. And man, the traffic was, oh God. The traffic was really bad. So I get there and I said, listen, I didn't want to drop it off. I said, can you look at it now? And if you can get it ready, I can install it today. So he said, okay. So he opened it up in front of me. And when I went to do the demonstration, I said, before he opened it, I put the hose and I went like this, and it blew. You know how it is when you go to a mechanic with a problem, and then you take it to the mechanic, and you want to demonstrate what the problem is, and the problem doesn't show. Well, the same thing happened. So I said, I said, you know what? I don't know what the hell. Before I blow and push and nothing. Now it flows because apparently while driving, going through bottles and stuff, it rattled, it shook it, and the float came down, and then you can blow through. Gas can go. So he says, okay, let me check everything. You open it up. He said, okay, it's not binding, da. And I said, well, let me see if this is it. So I pushed on the little balancer, brought the float up, and blew, and there it is. It was completely plugged, which I thought it might have been something, gum, piece of, something in there. It was the float that was getting stuck. So he took it to the back shop. He blew through, make sure there's nothing in it, blew through it, cleaned it out, and there was nothing to clean really. It was really clean already from the previous time I took it. And he put a new needle, I think, and he closed it back up. He says, okay, you shouldn't have any problems. I asked him, the birds are loud. I asked him, can you lubricate it? And he goes, well, if I put WD or something, the gas is going to wash it right off. And I said, yeah, that's true. So I went back to the boat and I installed it. I didn't start the engine because now there's another issue that we're going to go Friday and check it out. That we noticed when we had it running with fuel or pouring fuel, it started pushing water through the little reservoir tank. It was pushing water up. So there's an issue with the heat exchanger. It might be perforated. It can be a gasket because the engine got put together last year. As far as the heads, the intake, the exhaust manifolds, the risers, all that is new. Okay, all those gaskets are new. So I know it's not the engine, it's the heat exchanger. So Friday I'm gonna go and I'm gonna rent from either O'Reilly's or AutoZone. I'm gonna rent the little hand pump that you attach um, to the radiator cap and pump, and it shows there's a gauge and it shows you. It shows the gauge how many pounds of pressure you're putting into it. Stop it. So it's getting close to the afternoon and they're looking for a place to bed down. They usually go here in that bougainvillea bush. For some reason, they don't go to that bougainvillea, they go to this one. So, yeah, it's windy as hell. So yeah, so we're gonna see if we can get something done on Friday. Oh man. And I was checking the fishing, and up to now the fishing is lousy up and down the state. For some reason, because of the weather, it's changed. Jesus Christ. The weather's changed and they're not really biting that much. We need hot summer days. So some people are catching rockfish, but the game fish hasn't come up yet. You know, the yellows and the bluefin tuna and the yellowfin tuna and, you know, dorado and that kind of thing. It hasn't come up yet because the temperature is still cool. It hasn't gotten into the 90s, 80s. So we'll see what's going to happen. Now, one thing that I found out is that the last storm, a few last storms that we had about 2 months, I think, 2 months ago, it was kind of rough in the ocean, and it broke the anchor cables on the bait barge. And the guy that works the bait barge, he's got a couple of dogs, a couple of chihuahuas, and they saw him sitting on a box in the whole barge, which is a large. It has several, got like 4 big compartments for sardines and stuff. And he was just floating with he's hugging the dogs, and people are looking at him. And that's it, he quit. He was getting ready to retire, I think, but he quit. So now they rescued him obviously, and they got a hold of the barge and put it somewhere. But I haven't heard about reinstalling any cables and placing the barge where it was. So now if I want bait, I need to go 15 miles west to go fishing, to go get bait, and then go fishing from there. That's an additional 30 miles on my trip. Which makes the expenses higher, because before I used to grab bait right there. It was really close to the exit on the breakwater, maybe a couple of hundred, not even, about 150 yards, and you go around the rocks and boom, you're out to sea. and you can go straight into Catalina, or if you want to go south, if you want to go east towards Dana and down in that area, there's a canyon, and go to Newport, that kind of thing. Now you gotta go west to get bait. If you want to go east, then it's more expenses, more gas. So yeah, if it ain't one thing, it's another. So yeah, the boat is coming along, and I still gotta do some this and that, and I ordered a new loudspeaker, uh, ho- hailing horn. It's a big old fashioned uh, loudspeaker that is for fog and for communication. Because the one I had is pretty old. Hey, Papa, it's cracked and is crackling. You know. So I want to remove that and install a new one when it gets here. It's gonna be here in a few days. And also install the 100 watt light, and I still gotta install the spotlight. That's a nice spotlight. It has a remote control and everything. And I already got a guy came over. He's gonna give me he gave me a price already on painting, installing that base, painting that, and he's gonna do some painting around the windows and such. Uh, but first, I gotta finish with the engine, the blower, and we installed already the motor for the trim tabs. That's working. So there's a few miscellaneous, and I went also and installed two new switches, and I moved the horn switch to a different location. It's on the side now, and I'm making it more comfortable. Everything is within hand reach, you know. And then I gotta sit and learn that new radar, because it's got a lot of features, and I gotta learn about it, how to adjust it, how to trim it, how to reduce the gain, and improve the sharpness and that kind of thing. So we'll see you on the next one. Later.